Imagine a man so rich that his fortune could buy entire empires, dwarfing today's billionaires like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. But was Marcus Licinius Crassus truly the wealthiest human ever, even after adjusting for inflation? Stick around, because what you're about to hear might shatter everything you think you know about money and power in ancient Rome. But first, let's rewind to a time when one man's greed built and broke an empire.
Born into a noble but cash-strapped family in 115 BC, Crassus didn't start with silver spoons. He started with survival instincts. His father and brother were killed in political purges, forcing him to flee Rome with nothing but his wits. How did this refugee turn exile into extreme wealth? The answer involves fire, slaves, and a deal with the devil himself. But before we dive into his ruthless rise, ask yourself, would you burn down a city to build your fortune?
Elon Musk's $200+ billion? Impressive, but Crassus controlled 1% of Rome's GDP, equivalent to owning trillions in today's economy if scaled. Yet adjustments vary. Purchasing power parity puts him at $20 billion, while relative economic control says $2 trillion. Confused? Good, because next we pit him against history's other mega-rich. Who wins, Crassus or the African emperor who crashed economies with gold?
Mansa Musa of Mali, 1300s, was so rich he devalued gold during his Hajj pilgrimage, estimated $400 to $600 billion adjusted. Genghis Khan controlled vast lands worth trillions in resources. Crassus tops Romans but lags behind these. But wait, what about Augustus or Rockefeller? The rankings shift dramatically when we factor in hidden assets. Hold tight, the full list is explosive.
Crassus's methods were brutal, profiting from prescriptions, killing rich for their estates, exploiting disasters. In today's terms, he'd be a slumlord tycoon with a private army. But did his riches bring happiness? Spoiler, no. Envy and ambition killed him. Now imagine if he lived today. What company would he run? The answer might mirror Silicon Valley giants.
Like Crassus, today's ultra-rich influence politics. Lobbying anyone? His story warns, wealth without wisdom leads to downfall. Inflation adjusted or not, true power isn't in gold, it's in legacy. But is Crassus really the richest Roman? One final twist, his rival Pompey's hidden fortunes could eclipse him. Reveal coming up.
After all adjustments, Crassus ranks high, top 10 in history. But Mansa Musa edges him out. Yet his cunning redefined wealth building. Was he the richest ever? No. But the most ruthless? Absolutely. If this hooked you, like, subscribe, and comment. Who's your pick for history's richest? Next video, Pompeii's untold billions. Don't miss it.
Rome was a tinderbox. Literally, fires ravaged the city constantly, and Crassus saw opportunity in the ashes. He'd show up at burning buildings, buy them dirt cheap from desperate owners, then use his slave firefighters to save what was left. Rebuild, rent, repeat. This real estate racket alone made him millions in sesterces. But was it genius or extortion? Hold on, because his next move involved actual human lives, and it gets darker.
Crassus didn't stop at property. He dove into silver mines and slave trading, buying war captives cheap and working them to death for profit. His operations spanned the Mediterranean, turning human suffering into staggering wealth. Estimates put his net worth at 200 million sesterces, equivalent to about $200 billion today when inflation adjusted. But how do we even calculate that? And what deadly rebellion almost cost him everything? Don't skip ahead. The Spartacus twist is coming. In 73 BC, a gladiator named Spartacus led 70,000 slaves in revolt, threatening Rome's core. Crassus, ever the opportunist, funded his own army to crush them. He crucified 6,000 survivors along the Appian Way as a warning. Victory made him a hero, and even richer from captured spoils.
But jealousy brewed with rivals like Pompey. What alliance would he forge next that could topple the Republic? The triumvirate awaits. But first, a shocking betrayal.
Wealth bought Crassus influence, but not respect. He bribed his way into the consulship in 70 BC, sharing power with Pompey. Yet he craved more. Enter Julius Caesar, a rising star in debt. Crassus bankrolled Caesar's campaigns, forming a secret pact. This first triumvirate controlled Rome, but at what cost? One member's ambition would lead to Crassus's gruesome end.
Let's crunch the numbers. A Roman sesterces bought basics like bread or wine. Adjusted for purchasing power, Crassus's 200 million sesterces equals roughly $170 to $200 billion today. More than Bezos at his peak. But is that accurate? Historians debate. Some say it's closer to $20 billion if we factor in GDP shares. Which is it? Stay tuned. We'll compare him to other ancients like Mansa Musa next. But first, his fatal flaw.
Flush with cash, Crassus sought military glory to rival Pompey and Caesar. In 53 BC, he invaded Parthia, modern Iran, with 40,000 men. Greed blinded him. He ignored warnings and chased gold rumors. What happened next was a massacre that shocked Rome. But how did it involve molten gold? The horrific details are just ahead. You won't believe his death. At Carrhae, Parthian cataphracts and archers decimated Crassus's forces. 20,000 Romans died, 10,000 captured. Crassus tried to negotiate, but treachery struck. Legend says the Parthians poured molten gold down his throat, mocking his greed. You craved gold? Now quench your thirst with it. Gruesome? Absolutely. But was this the end of his legacy? Not quite. His son's fate adds another layer.
The Parthians captured Rome's sacred eagle standards, a national humiliation. Crassus's head was used as a prop in a play. Back home, his death shifted power to Caesar and Pompey, sparking civil war. But inflation adjusted, does his wealth hold up against modern titans? We're about to compare, and you might be surprised who tops the list.